How to have good sex once you cross 40. Now, some people think once you cross a certain age and stage that like sex just dries up and crumbles away like a leaf or something. No, maybe for some people. But other people, they still manage to have a very good sex life once they cross their 40s. Now, I'm a young Gen-Xer, still currently in my 40s, but clock is ticking, run out of time in my 40s. But what I've learned and what some other people have told me, maybe you can share what you think in the comments, it's most definitely still possible to have a very good sex life once you are into your 40s and beyond. You just got to be honest about certain things. One of the things you got to be honest about is that your body's changed. Certain things have changed. You are not the person you were in your teens and your 20s and maybe your early 30s. You've started to change. Now, for some people, it's hormonal. For some people, it's emotional. And also physical. And so if you got to take pills, therapy, so on and so forth, it is what it is. I'm not disparaging anybody. Whatever helps get you through, that's still healthy. But, you got to be honest. Certain things have changed. You may still have desire, but your partner may not have the same type of desire. Or you may have desire, but you don't have the same capabilities. And so, like I said, you got to take your pills, do whatever. But other things that matter for a nice sex life in your 40s. Now, what I'm going to focus on in this video is not necessarily the actual act of sex, because that's different. That's an art. That's an art. That's not something you can kind of like scientifically break down. And some people know how to move that paintbrush and some people don't. But in your 40s, since we're not going to focus on just the physical act of having sex, we're going to talk about different other things that helps make a sex life better, more enjoyable. So one of the things is being honest about your body, knowing what you still can do or maybe what you would still like to do, but maybe things have changed. You just got to be honest about it. Like for some dudes, maybe, like I say, maybe it's not staying hard as long. They might need pills for that. Maybe for some women, they're not as wet as they used to. Maybe it's pills that's causing that. Who knows? But you got to be honest because it's going to factor into having a good sex life. But one thing that people don't often mention is, and I'm going to mention a couple of things that people don't often associate with having a good sex life. And it does matter, but especially as you get older. Taking trips. And it don't necessarily have to be like, damn, we got to travel to Jamaica. We got to travel to, Aruba every time we're going to have sex. No, I don't mean like that, but an occasional trip, an occasional travel. Sometimes it gets the juices flowing for different men, for different women. Go to someplace decent, someplace nice, or sometimes just someplace different. Maybe she'd be willing or he'd be willing to go have sex in the car down by the river, at the park or something. Maybe y'all go rent a hotel room. People do that all the time. Some people do that all the time. It don't have to just be about an affair or cheating or we're dating. We're in an actual relationship. But hey, why don't you meet me at the hotel room? Like around 6:30. What you talking about hotel room? Yeah, no, just 2:17. Like, something going down. You just schedule something. You just do something. Schedule something. So I'll get into that part in a moment. But you might just have to do something different. So like I say, instead of it just being the same old, if you've been in a relationship, same old positions, same old room, same old time of day, after the same old meals, chop it up, do something different. That factors sometimes into a nice little sex life. It's the unknown that's the scariest thing. It's not the blood and the gore or the screams necessarily. It's the unknown. That's what's really scary. But the unknown sometimes can be really fucking attractive. Can really get you going, get those juices going, get you horny. So sometimes you or your partner just mix in a little bit of the unknown. Not maybe too much that throws them off or insults them or whatever, but just throwing in some, like I say, you travel somewhere. It ain't got to be to the other side of the country. It ain't got to be to Europe or some cruise. A lot of people like to take cruises. It can be. But I'm saying it don't have to be every time you're trying to get some or every time you are in a certain mood. But maybe instead of like, hey, let's go do the same old 1-2 step, you throw in a 3-4 step. You know what I'm saying? You just mix it up. You do something a little unknown that can get the juices going. So one of the simple, easier ways is go get a hotel room somewhere. Go smash on the side of the house in the garage or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go fuck in a friend's bathroom. I don't know. Just mix it up. And if you're not in a relationship, it still kind of applies. Like, instead of it's like, oh, you know, now of course this depends on your morals, your comfortability. But instead of it being like, oh, you know, I'm 40 plus and not in a relationship, and so whenever sex comes, I just got to take it. No, you got to be honest about what you like. Be honest about what you can still do. Like I say, some people have desire. They may not have stamina. They may not have the capability. Some people got the capability, but they got to get in the mood. So that gets to another thing, prep time. As you get older, you got to realize you need a little bit of prep time. Your teens, 20s, maybe early 30s, maybe that was different. Maybe not. Some people, they started families, they got a busy workload. You got to start scheduling things. You can't just roll over into a sexual position, just yawn into an orgasm. You got to like schedule it now because there's different things, different moving parts going on. But also when you get older, you might have those moving parts, but like I say, some of your capabilities, some of your desire, physical, hormonal, emotional, all of these things have to be factored in so that you can prep. So you have to know what you like. You have to be honest about yourself, what you like, what you're capable of, and factor that into prep time. And another thing that people don't really talk about, you do a little bit more so when you're younger. People don't necessarily talk about it, they express it. Money. Sometimes just money coming in, money not being so difficult to come across, bank error in my favor, Monopoly, $200-$300 came my way unexpectedly. Sometimes that can get the juices going. Some people, sports bets, please be careful. Only bet when you are comfortable losing. That's my personal advice. Only bet what you're comfortable losing. Don't go chasing losses. But for some people, they put a little something on a game or two. It came back and hit. We fucking tonight. Are we? Because now maybe we can go out. Maybe we can go out to dinner. Maybe we can go get that drink, get that bottle of champagne, get that bottle of wine or whatever. Or go get them shots, take it straight to the head. We can go roller skating. I don't know, I'm a young Gen-Xer, so, you know, maybe roller skating. People don't roller skate anymore, I don't know. But like, we can go do something, you know, because a little money came through. It didn't change our lives, but it put a little smile on our face. Got him a little bit more rock, got her a little bit more wet. I'm just saying. So sometimes when money maybe has come in a little bit, that income tax return, people know how it is. I'm just saying, maybe that's the time you take that trip, get that hotel room. Hell, for some people, I swear to God, I'm not bullshitting. For some people, if they saw an improvement in their credit score, I went from 640 to 720. I'm just saying. Finally paid off that mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Like, interest rates went down. We're not paying as much on credit card bills. Money factors in sometimes in a way that when you're older, because presumably you're making more money and, you know, different things is going on monetarily, financially. So that's something that you see younger people spreading out money and, you know, like just doing, you know, certain young, dumb shit. But really, sometimes when the money is flowing just a tad bit good, that's the time when sex gets a little bit better. Communication. Always still a certain amount of communication. You could have a certain amount of communication where we don't talk during sex. Communication is not necessarily about words, people. Communication is about an understanding in whatever way it can be conveyed. So being able to communicate with someone, being able to sync up with someone, having a certain understanding, a certain cadence and rhythm with someone, most definitely can help create good sex. So when you're younger, maybe it's just about looks. Maybe it's just about opportunity. Maybe it's just about hormones. But when you're older, like I say, plus 35, plus 40, plus 50, you should have an understanding of what you like, what you want, your value, what's attractive about you, what would make you desirable. And even if you don't think you're desirable, I'm telling you, there are people out there who find you desirable. It's just maybe a matter of meeting them and reaching them and bumping into them, but it's flavors of ice cream. That person may not like your ice cream, but I'm telling you, that person likes your ice cream. It's just a matter of whether or not you can put the ice cream on their cone, whatever. Well, you get what I'm saying. So, communication. Some people don't have to talk during sex and can have wonderful sex. Some people can talk trash to each other and have good sex. Some people like their hair pulled. Some people like a little bit of pain. Some people like exhibition type of sex. Like they want someone to hear. They want someone to see. Whatever. But if you have a certain understanding of what you like, and you're honest about it. Okay, just give you a slight bit of personal info. I'm going to smoke on this one first before I tell you. I got a little bit of exhibitionism in me. Not necessarily showing myself off. I got a decent body. I'm not afraid to show myself off. I once, in college, twice actually, ran in what was called the Naked Mile. Maybe I'll tell that another story. So I'm not necessarily afraid for me to be seen, especially since my body got a little bit better. But there's a certain turn on. There's a certain turn on in a way that's not going to get you in trouble. But there's a certain turn on for someone seeing you, someone hearing you. But you got to be honest about that. You got to know that that's what you like and be honest about it. Is it a little kinky? Is it a little freaky? Is it not for everybody? It's more than vanilla, but it's not, rocky road. It's not some complicated flavor that other people like. But it's what I like. It's part of what I like. It's part of what I like. So you got to know this. That helps to produce better sex, especially as you get older. You can't just rely on, like I say, just falling into a sexual position like you might when you were younger. Relationship or not, whether or not that person knows how to move their body. Some people say that. Let me know in the comments if people think this is true or not. I think it is mostly true. Not 100%, but I think it's about 70-80% true. I think it's about 70% true. That if you know how to dance, you probably know how to fuck. So when you're younger and you're out dancing, perhaps, or you're going out to clubs and this and that, and you can see people dance, maybe you have an understanding then at that moment that that's what you like. But when you get older and you're not out at clubs and you're not necessarily seeing people dance, it helps to still have an understanding of what you like. And, like I say, of what value you bring to the table, what might be attractive to you as you get older. Because it's that's the type of communication, spoken or not. And it's that type of communication within your inner dialogue within yourself, but then communication with that other person, whoever you may come across, that can make some really good sex. So it's not just about your youth. It's not just about the actual act of having sex. It's about knowing who you are, knowing what you like. It's about having a certain amount of prep time. People think it's always the women who need prep time. Men need a certain amount of prep time too, especially as we get older. I know for me, another little personal thing, not necessarily related to sex, but about getting older and prep time. If I am going to eat something after 7 o'clock at night, it cannot be something big. It cannot be heavy. Younger, you just ate, and then you got on the basketball court and you ran, and then you got off the basketball court and you fucked for 3 hours, and then you got off to that, and then you just didn't really think about nothing. Or now that I'm older, I cannot eat anything heavy after 7 and then expect to do something physical or expect to stay up. I need naps now. Like, there's certain different things that you need. I sometimes go to Toronto because I love Toronto. I make a video about some of the different places that I've been, and Toronto is one of them because I love Toronto. I love Mississauga, as I used to get teased for saying. And love Montreal too. But Caribana. I've gone to Toronto during Caribana. And I went there once when I was in my college years, and that's what got me onto it. Met a bunch of college friends up there, and it was like, oh shit, this is Toronto? We stayed in actual downtown Toronto during Caribana. I'll never forget. Had a nice little buzz going. The city of Toronto was bouncing like this every step I took in my vision. Anyway, so I went there as a teenager, got hooked on it, went back for business, and then for business and pleasure once I got into my 30s and in my 40s. So I love going to Toronto. Love going there for Caribana also, especially. But when I go, your boy, oh, I'm taking a nap. I have to take a nap. A nap is going to be taken if I'm going to be out and enjoying myself after 11 o'clock. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck. You can clown me. You can laugh. There's different people, younger people, they have until they reach that age and stage, and then they shut the fuck up because they understand that you got to be honest with yourself and be like, oh yeah, I don't want to be at this club. I don't want to be at this spot. I don't want to be hanging with people. I don't want to be on the strip. I don't want to be whatever. I don't want to be doing whatever we trying to do at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30, and be begging, waiting to go to bed. That's not having fun. So I'm going to go ahead and sneak in, if I can. I'm going to sneak in my 6:30 to 8:30 nap. Get up, prep, this and that, blah, 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 blah. By 10 o'clock, I'm pretty good. I'm ready to go. I'm pretty good to go. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I done got my buzz on at that moment. Maybe I could start getting my buzz on. At 10 o'clock, you can start getting your buzz on. Travel to wherever you're trying to go to. Maybe trying to go to multiple places. So maybe you get up at 9. My point being is there's going to be a fucking nap. Because once I crossed a certain age and stage, I got honest about the fact that that's what I needed. I got honest about the fact that I perform better in various activities. I perform better if I'm not dragging, if I'm not waiting to go to sleep. And so if I eat significantly after 7 o'clock, it increases the chances that I'm going to want to go to bed. I'm going to want to chill and get horizontal and not in a sexual way. But if I take that nap, eat relatively light, put something on your stomach, especially if you're drinking, you know how it is. And if you pass a certain age and stage, you should know how it is. You got to put a little something on your stomach. So you take a nap, recharge, just like charging your phone up. I ain't trying to be out here and my phone is on 3%. So you recharge, you take that nap, put a little something on your stomach, and now you can start getting your buzz on, and you can get out there and be out there till however long the night, wherever the night takes you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't Cinderella, you ain't got to be back by midnight. But that's all a part of, like I say, in your teen 20s and maybe in some of your 30s, you're not thinking about none of that. You're not thinking about none of that. But when you cross about 35, 40, let me know in the comments whenever it might have happened to you, if it's happened to you. But for me, probably around 37, 38, I was like, you know what, man? I think I perform better. I think I have a better evening when I take a nap. I think sex is better for me when it's not on a full fucking stomach. I think, you know what I'm saying, a shot and a nice little bottle of red Stripe, that's a good appetizer for me. It's not too much. Give me, you know what I'm saying? You start to learn and understand, you should start to learn and understand yourself a little bit better as you cross these ages and stages. And if you can understand yourself and be honest, that's probably 50% of having a good sex life as you get older. Because we know the physical is going to change. We know the capabilities in many ways are going to change. But it's understanding that other stuff. To me, that's probably close to 50% of what you need as you get older to have a good sex life. Be honest with yourself. Know what you like. Know what you want. You need some prep time. And whatever different other little things to get the juices going. Like I say, whether it's some clothing, nice little clothing and outfits, you take a trip, you do something unexpected, maybe some money come in. do something a little freaky. I don't know, whatever. But just because you get older doesn't mean it just dries up and goes away. If it does, that's on you. That's not because you got older. Anyway, this is your boy, young Gen-Xer. The last days and hours of his 40s. Just kicking my little advice to you. Who the fuck am I? But anyway, I'll get back at you.